moving again. Hey, I'm Wesley, and last summer I moved from New York City back home to San Francisco in order to save money because, well, inflation's a bitch and now the eggs cost $8 a dozen. Sacrifices had to be made. So between that and renovations and wedding planning and recovering from severe burnout, life has been a little more hectic than usual, but we're hanging in there, I think. Okay, back to the whole moving thing. We're technically just moving upstairs, so it's not nearly as bad as some of our previous moves have been. It will still involve a lot of shimmying and pivoting and complaining and misery, of course. But I'll explain a little bit more about why we're doing this later on. First, I want to go over the plan. So to make this whole process as painless and quick as possible, our plan is to keep the large furniture that can be swapped one for one, like switching our bed frames, but keeping our mattresses. We're also going to be trading couches, so we don't have to move those since we plan on replacing them eventually anyway. We'll keep the dining table upstairs since it doesn't fit downstairs, and we're going to keep most of the TVs where they are. The big furniture we still have to move is Grandma's bed and vanity, Mom's vanity and nightstands, the dining table, the smaller upstairs dining table to downstairs. We have to bring all of our desk and office furniture upstairs, and then also carry the coffee table and console table downstairs. So we're actually leaving for New York soon. It's gonna be for a surprise proposal for one of my close friends, Arenda. Very exciting, but also means we only have a couple days before we leave to kind of get all the big stuff moved around so that the rest of the family can kind of unpack and decorate everything while we're gone. Meanwhile, I'm gonna try and put a lot of our personal items into boxes. And this stuff is probably just gonna get moved slowly over time. I highly doubt we're gonna be unpacking everything before the wedding because that's taken over my life. So the goal is to just really switch our sleeping areas first and then just try to survive with the rest. If you've seen any of my moving vlogs before, you'll know I am a pro at lazy girl packing. So I think we're just gonna keep this as simple as possible. And you know, like this dresser thing that has all of my makeup, I'm just gonna keep everything in there. I have some other drawers that have like stationery in it. I'm not gonna try and move that. I'll probably just pack up a lot of the knickknacks that are up here and then maybe move some of my books over to like the hallway bookshelf for now and figure out what to do with them after. Also, everything in the house right now is a disaster. Please don't judge me. That's my future husband. So, you may be wondering why we're moving again when we just moved less than a year ago. Great question. First, some context. Albie and I live downstairs in the in-law unit and his mom and his grandma live up on this level. They've switched back and forth depending on the circumstances over the years, but for the recent few years, it made sense for that arrangement because him and I were going back and forth from New York. We weren't here a lot. But now, ever since we came back from the summer, space has been very tight because him and I both work from home now. We have Momo, who's a third person or party that is also taking up space. And for a while we were trying to spruce up downstairs, make it work. You know, we redid the hallway, we rearranged the fridge and the kitchen, but it was really hard for us to just kind of live in that environment a lot. And right now, both his mom and his grandma aren't home a lot. His mom works and his grandma is out living her best life at the casino and seeing friends. So this entire space here, this living room and this dining room, is never used. The staircase is also kind of scary, especially for aging family members. You know, unfortunately, no one's getting any younger and we don't want anyone to have any accidents having to come up and down here all the time just to get in the house, do laundry, do simple things. Actually, I even slid down here one time on my own because the stairs are so narrow. This is my current office and I'm making the space work the best I can, but it is kind of tight, as you can tell. Like I can't really even pull out my chair all the way, otherwise it hits the bed. So it'll be nice to have my own space and then, you know, have my own desk and other area for crafts and projects and not have to like move my keyboard to the bed if I need to journal. Anyway, it's the little things in life, you know? Albie is also slowly being buried alive by his various collections of stuff, which I don't think having a bigger office is really gonna solve much of that. But that's a problem for him to deal with. As far as plans go, for once we're done with moving all this major stuff, I really want to make it a priority to make this a, maybe not no buy, but at least low buy move. because in the past, I have spent so much money and time trying to perfect everything when I first move in and want everything to be perfect right out of the gate, and that's just not realistic. Plus, our house is already full of stuff on both sides, and honestly, I'm happy to let things kind of swap in and out slowly. This is not going to be one of those like content makeover, move and have a perfect apartment tour within a week. It's definitely going to take a while, and that's okay. We can be patient. The main priorities are just going to be getting a new couch. We were going to do that anyway down here, so that's still the plan. Probably get a coffee table because we won't have one. It would also be nice to have a reading nook. I'm also excited to get back into my plant era because there hasn't been enough sunlight here to have too many plants, but there's a little more space upstairs, so that'll be nice. We're also gonna have to replace the bed frame upstairs that we're taking from Albie's mom. We're giving her this one, which is a little bit newer. That one is kind of falling apart, so eventually we're gonna have to find one that we like and replace that. And as far as my workspace goes, this desk is pretty small. It's like a 24 by 48 or by 40 even. I mean, it works fine right now, and I do have my old uplift standing desk in my mom's house that I can probably sub in if I need to. But again, we're planning on just using the space as it is first and seeing what we really need and not jumping into anything. This is all just daydreaming right now. I'm also really excited to be able to put up more of my artwork because I've been collecting a lot over the last few years and there just hasn't been enough wall space to put things up. So these have been sitting on the floor after I went to different conventions. This one's really funny. One of my friends from YouTube, Dina Lou, you should check out her channel, but she actually made me this very sweet poem. She does them as a hobby. I'm excited, definitely in my chaos phase, but that's okay. There's definitely a lot going on, but that has been the state of my life for the last 2 years, so we're used to it by now. And also, I want to show you something cool. See this window and see this remote? If I press this button, that's pretty cool. So these are smart blinds from a company called SmartWing. And this video is not sponsored, but full transparency, they did send me these last year when they found out I was moving back to San Francisco, which was very generous. And I forgot how much I missed having this as just like a little luxury because I did first have smart blinds in my first apartment in New York back in 2021 because we had these huge 12-foot ceilings, which were beautiful, but also slightly inconvenient for having to like draw curtains or blinds in. So the landlord had installed these and it was amazing to have. I'll probably order a bunch more for upstairs. And we're definitely an Alexa household, so I'm excited to be able to connect all of these, tell Alexa in the morning, hey, I'm awake, and then all the blinds open up, and there's music playing, and there's sunlight, and it's gonna be a good time. Anyway, sorry I have not been posting a lot when I said I was gonna come back and post more. But I also said that I wasn't gonna be on a schedule, so you can't hold me accountable for that. No, but actually I have been falling back into that perfectionist trap of thinking that I need to have my life together, I need to have a plan, need to know what I'm doing before I can film. But I'm trying to remind myself that you don't have to wait till you feel ready to do something. So here we are, showing you a little slice of life again, and I guess we could do a little bit of a catch-up because it is now March of 2025, which is pretty wild. This year has been going by insanely fast, especially considering last year was like the longest year of my life. I don't know where the last 3 months have gone. I honestly did have the intention of making more videos this year, but once January kicked off, life just warp speed out into space, and I have been struggling to keep up. I went to go visit my friend in Seattle, came back for a few days, then had to go to Savannah to do all of our tastings and wedding stuff, and then went straight to visit my friend in Miami because we had a stopover, came back, and then a few days after that found out, a family member was sick back in Georgia, so then I had to go back to Georgia again and drive like 4 hours down to the middle of nowhere, which is where, my dad and everyone else live. And then I came back, and a few days later, Albie left for his bachelor trip. Then he came back. A few days later, I left for my bachelor trip. Went to Mexico. It was amazing, but obviously whirlwind of things happening. And between that and wedding planning, I just have been an actual human tornado. I keep telling people I'm in my chaos era, but I've also been saying that for a year and a half now, so maybe this is just my life. Anyway, this could all be summed up by a very accurate Reddit post that I saw on the wedding planning subreddit. So that's it for now. We're surviving, probably not thriving, but it's okay because we're putting one foot in front of the other, taking it one day at a time, deep breaths, and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.